Hi, my name is Elisa Flemister, and I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Realty, and I service the Dallas, Fort Worth, and surrounding areas. I wanted to go ahead and put together a list of 10 tips to help first-time home buyers. I love working with first-time home buyers. I love it because I like to walk people through the process. I love going over what you should expect, the best case scenario, the worst case scenario. This is how this may happen. I absolutely love it. So why not go ahead and put together a list, right? Okay. So here's 10 tips to help any first-time home buyer. Tip number 1, the most important tip, you cannot avoid it, do it early on. Talk to a lender and let a lender educate you on interest rates. Let them educate you on what different price points will make your monthly payments be. There's different loan types out there. There's down payment assistance programs if you're willing to move in certain areas. There's a lot of education there. Start there, get pre-approved, and find out what you're comfortable with as far as a monthly payment, okay? All right, so tip number 2, find an agent. Now, there's a lot of people who go on, there's a lot of home search websites and find agents that way. That's perfectly fine. If you need help finding an agent, I can definitely connect you with an agent in your area as well. So just let me know. You can send me an email and I'll go ahead and find you an agent. But for the most part, you can go and find an agent and ask for reviews. Ask them if they have reviews and references. Ask them the area that they work in, because that's really, really important that you know that. And the reason I say that is because here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there's multiple offer battles all the time. So you want an agent that knows the area that you're wanting to move in so that they will know how the market is in that area. Are there multiple offers all the time? Is it an area that people are able to get in under list price a lot? Is there a lot of room to negotiate? They'll be able to help you with that information, but you have to have the right agent. Feel free to interview them. Listen, this is a long-term relationship that you're about to build. There's a lot of money involved. Make sure that they're the right person for you, okay? All right, so tip number 3, come up with your preferred areas and let your agent know if you're open. Okay, so let me explain what that means. You have your preferred area, but your agent may be able to direct you 5 miles north of that area, and you may be able to get more bang for your buck. Okay, so now if you have certain areas, like your certain limitations, like you have to be in a certain school zone or something like that, then obviously you want to stick with that. But if you are a little bit flexible, we may be able to get you more for your money. So be a little bit open if possible. All right, so tip number 4, waste gas. This is the perfect time for you to go in your car, drive around, and stalk neighborhoods. You want to find out where the parks are, where the schools are, where the shopping and dining is located, the other areas of interest that you may have. That is going to determine how happy you are in that area, right? So go ahead, get in your car, drive around. You'd be surprised how many times I come across other people who are wanting to go look at some homes in an area, and they want to look at homes in that area because they don't know if they'll like that area. That's not the right way to go about it, because what we're doing is going from highway to the home, back to the highway to another home. So you can't really get a feel of a neighborhood by just driving through really quick. You need to look around that neighborhood. And I've had a lot of clients who, thought that they were interested in a certain area, and then they, I send them to drive around and they're like, oh, we don't like that area. So you definitely want to spend time doing that, because this is not a lease. You're not moving within 6 to 12 months, right? It's a huge commitment. So make sure you like the area that you're interested in, okay? All right, so tip number 5. Write down your needs versus wants. Now, let me explain what a need is, because it's always so funny to have someone say, well, I need this, and they end up buying something and it doesn't have that need, right? So that's probably not a need. It's probably a want, right? So your needs should be the non-negotiables, the deal breakers, if it doesn't have this, I'm not buying this home. So write those things down. A great example of that would be a yard. Right? So, if you have dogs, or even if you just don't have dogs, you just want a yard, we shouldn't be looking at homes that don't have yards, right? So that's another thing. If you have your needs, you need to stick with those needs and not go and spend time looking at houses that don't have that need. Okay? All right. So tip number 6, this one's a little tough, especially when I have to explain it in person, because it's kind of on that fine line, right? All right, so watch the advice that others give you. I hate saying that, but it's I've seen it time after time after time how a first time home buyer will bring, their Uncle Bob with them. Their Uncle Bob bought a home, 2 years ago in a completely different market and paid $20,000 under list price. So now in this market, in this multiple offer market, he's advising you to go, 25, 30,000 under list price because he wants you to negotiate, right? So be very careful. Just realize that we're realtors. We work in this market every day. I know your Uncle Bob may have purchased a home some time ago, but he's not a realtor. He doesn't study the market every day. He doesn't study the neighborhoods every day. And that's something that we do. And that's kind of where the trust comes into play. Something that your realtor should provide you with that will help you in that area is what's called a CMA report. So it should show the past sales for the 90 days or, 6 months in that neighborhood. And if you see a trend that homes are selling generally over list price, then it's probably not the best thing to have Uncle Bob tell you to go in under list price. You know what I mean? So just be very, very careful of that. I've seen time after time how, my client will bring somebody with them, and that, the person that they bring with them, it starts to help them try to negotiate, and it's not good. It's not good at all. All right. So you do want to make sure that the advice that they're giving you is, it falls into line with the facts of the neighborhood, the sales report of the neighborhood. Okay. All right. So step number 7, or tip number 7, I should say, ask questions. You should be, well, most first-time home buyers, they're very nervous. They may be a little bit intimidating going through the process. Ask every question you can think about to make sure that you're a little bit more at ease during the process. When you first meet the realtor that you want to work with, they should explain to you right then and there the whole process, what happens. They should go over the contract with you. Ask for a blank contract. And then that way, when it comes time to write the offer, you already know the basic steps and what's going to happen, and, where things are filled in on the contract. So just familiarize yourself with that. Don't be afraid to educate yourself on some information as well. Okay. All right. So tip number 8, be honest with your realtor. This is the most important tip for me because, there's times where you may have a client and, I deal with a lot of clients that have, the feng shui, the home needs to face a certain direction and then the kitchen needs to face a certain direction. I deal a lot with that, which I absolutely love. I have no problem with it at all. I just need to know that up front. So there's been situations, and it doesn't have to be the feng shui. It could be the price range. You're pre-approved for $400,000, but you really don't want to go over $310,000. That's something that you should talk to your realtor about and make sure that she's aware, he or she is aware. So that way we're not going and looking at 10, 15, 20 homes. And then, the reason why you're not bidding on all those is because it's against what you really want. So just make sure the communication's there. Also, if you wake up one morning and say, hey, I don't want to buy a home anymore, call your realtor and let them know. They've invested time working with you and you've invested time working with them, and communication is extremely important. We're a partner, we're a team, we have one common goal. All right. So tip number 9, don't get caught up in misconceptions. And what I mean by that is, sometimes you can go into something, and it doesn't have to be into, buying a home. It could be in any area of your life. You go into it with preconceived, beliefs about something. Let me give you an example. A lot of first-time home buyers, and, it doesn't have to be a first-time home buyer, but a lot of people tend to believe that new homes have less problems. And new homes mean less maintenance. That's absolutely not true at all. Because a new home, if it's not built correctly and if it's built with cheap materials, you'll be doing just as much work with that home than you would with a home that's built in 1990 that may have had, stronger, sturdier materials. Okay, so newer is not always better. If you want a new home, go for a new home, get a new home. But my point is, misconceptions can cause you to be pretty closed-minded, and then it could stop you from getting something that you really, really would have enjoyed. Okay, so last tip has to do with inspections. Don't let an inspection scare you unless it needs to. First-time home buyer, that inspection report that has pages of things that are wrong with the house, it could be very intimidating, makes you want to walk away from the home. I would encourage you to really lean on your inspector and your realtor too, but definitely the inspector, for guidance on what items to ask for. You definitely want to focus on the bigger, larger things, but just know that he's going to find something. He or she is going to find something, and be okay with it, and just, take a deep breath. When you're looking at it, it is pre-owned, so you do have to think about that. But anyway, I hope these tips help you out. You can feel free to check me out at yougotinvestments.com. I will also go ahead and post all my detail information, all my contact information, in the detail box. Feel free to like and subscribe. I will be posting videos regularly to educate home buyers and also sellers on what to do to get them, their transaction done. All right. Hopefully I'll talk to you soon. Bye.